I guess we should start with John Calipari and the Knicks. That makes no sense to me.
No, the Knicks don't need to make another celebrity hire. Okay, they brought in Isaiah Thomas, obviously a celebrity. It didn't work out. He hadn't had any experience as a president. Even though
Toronto,
he drafted
what?
well.
He drafted
well.
In Toronto?
Was he GM? He was kind of had some ownership, had a lot of. You're right, but he didn't work out there. They brought in Phil Jackson, no experience as a president, celebrity hire, didn't work out. John Calipari, he has no experience in the NBA front office. So you have no idea what type of job he would do. I covered Cal when he coached the Nets. He had troubles in the NBA. His first year, a couple years were all right, and then it went south. So that they don't need John Calipari. He's right not to be interested in the job if he's being sincere. Here's the thing. They need to make a traditional hire, okay? Don't go the celebrity route anymore. I liked hearing Masai Ujiri's name. It looks like they're not going to even be able to do an interview with him.
Because
it looks like Toronto, they don't think Toronto will give him permission.
Oh.
And so it looks like they're not even going to ask for permission. David Griffin's name has been floated out there, Sam Presti's name. Whether it's one of those two guys or not, they need to go a traditional route. Get a grinder who's used to doing the job in the front office in today's NBA and let him do it. The question is this. Steve Mills is the president, and David Griffin, Sam Presti, some of the names you've heard, even throw out John Calipari, they would want power over Steve Mills, I believe. Now, maybe they'll try to work something out, but that's going to be an interesting dynamic. You know, who comes in? Are they under Mills or are they fine with being under Mills, and how that works out? So that'll be something to watch for in this
Mills
search.
isn't a basketball guy, though.
Well, but
been around it a while.
He's been in the Knicks for over a decade. He's been the president of Madison Square Garden. Now he's the president of the Knicks. He's been the GM under Phil Jackson. Obviously, he was going to be under Phil Jackson. But right now, he's the acting president. And the question is, will he bring in somebody to be above him or beneath him?
What do you think is going to happen with Gordon Hayward?
You hear a lot of things around the league. Some people are strong believers that he's going to end up in Boston. Others think Miami. I haven't heard as many that think he'll stay in Utah, although I'm told the Jazz are confident they'll be able to keep him. If I had to put money on it, I would say he ends up in Boston. It just makes too much sense. I think he's a very good fit there. Going to the Eastern Conference is wise, both for winning perspective for your team and also individually for you to become one of the best players in the conference and be able to make all-star teams every year. Obviously, Brad Stevens is there. So if I had to bet, I would say Boston.
If he lands in Boston, do you expect they'll put a deal in place that entices Indiana to give up Paul George?
They should be able to get George. There's no question. And I know they have everything they need to offer, but you shouldn't even have to give up all of what you have. And that's giving up half of the things they can offer. You know, the draft picks, a couple of the good young players, even starting caliber players. That's going to be better than what the Lakers could offer you. And if you have no interest in Kevin Love, which Indiana doesn't, better than what Cleveland can get you. So I do think that Boston should be able to get Paul George, and we'll give up a little more for him if they get Gordon Hayward.
Hayward and George, Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford, Brad Stevens, is that enough to knock off Cleveland?
It gets them a lot closer. I still would pick Cleveland, assuming LeBron James doesn't have any, doesn't lose anything over the offseason. He's still by far the best player in the conference. And you've arguably, some people would say Kyrie's second best. He's certainly in the discussion. So I would still go with Cleveland. They're still a very good team. They're not as good as Golden State, and we all saw that. But people are underestimating them. They're still better than that threesome in Boston.
Spent a lot of time today talking Doc Rivers and talking, the nepotism and his son, and Doc's denied that it's had any role. Kristine made a great point earlier that Doc Rivers and Chris Paul were 100% in lockstep on the same team early on in this relationship. And now to see Chris Paul on the other side of that relationship, does that make, if Chris Paul will jump ship on you, does that mean the Clippers should jump ship on Doc?
Well, look, it's kind of a mess over there with the Clippers. There's no question. And Doc's the president. So Steve Ballmer's not over there all the time creating the culture. The culture's been created by Doc. Let's go to Austin first. Doc saved Austin's NBA career. He very well might be out of the league if Doc hadn't taken him a few years ago, because that's where he was headed. And nobody really had any interest in him. Now, I believe Austin has actually become a pretty good player. Not really a starter, but he's a good, legitimate rotation player, in my opinion. And he's making $11 million a year. That's not, in today's NBA, that's not really out of range for a guy of his caliber. So I think some of that has been a little overstated, although Austin, I'm told, has carte blanche within the organization. He does whatever he wants, whether it's at practice, whether it's just even parking habits at practice and things like that. Austin can do what he wants. Now, as far as Doc and the culture in the organization, I'm told that people are over there walking on eggshells, and nobody is having fun. It's not a fun environment to work in because Doc runs it with an iron fist. Assistant coaches aren't supposed to talk to the media. There's some people in management that aren't supposed to talk to players. I mean, Doc runs things with an iron fist, and it's created this environment where I'm told nobody's having fun. Chris Paul was not having fun. I mean, winning is one thing, obviously, but it's not like that Houston team is all of a sudden going to the finals. He left a better roster. He left jobs or financial security. He could have got 4 or 5 years guaranteed with the Clippers. Now, what if he gets injured? He's a guy that's been injured throughout his career. What if he gets injured this year? He was willing to risk all that to get out of there, to go to a worse team. So, the culture's bad. I think Jerry West should be in charge. I think Jerry West should be running things there. And I think that's probably going to happen in a year or so if they have another mediocre season. Would Doc be able to handle just becoming the coach? I do think Doc Rivers is still a good coach. I know he's gotten a lot of criticism in that regard. I think the main problem is that he's president and coach. That rarely works out. But I would let him coach, let Jerry West run everything, have Lawrence Frank under Jerry, and go from there. And then if it doesn't work out again, maybe you get rid of Doc.
Blake Griffin, is he leaving the Clippers?
I think they're going to try to bring him back. The question, it'll be interesting with these negotiations. Will they offer him 4 years or 5 years? Many people in that organization believe he's going to want a no-trade clause, which would be a big sticking point. I only give 3 people in this league a no-trade clause, unless I'm forgetting somebody, but LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. Those are only 3 people in the league. Carmelo, first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion, shouldn't have a no-trade clause. So I would not give Blake Griffin a no-trade clause. And if it means losing him, then so be it. But I believe they want to bring him back. Jerry West is not into 5-year plans. He's going to want to build this thing up and get it going quickly. The Clippers had been at rock bottom for basically 2 decades. Be careful before you willingly go back to rock bottom and say, let's start all over. Because in most cases, that doesn't work.
Chris, I know you're married and you probably can't comment on this, but when you were talking about your no-trade clause with 3 people, I was thinking about mine. Tamron Hall, Kim Kardashian.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my. And I was with you on Tamron. Classy,
you guys
foxy.
love her.
Oh, she's bad.
And Halle Berry, just for old school sake, I would put her on the list. But Tamron Hall, a no-trade clause without question.
You a celebrity. Like, you should be on that level where you can holler at her.
Trust me, I've tried. I've been shut down. I've been teased a little bit. I've tried.
You might need to lean left a little bit more.
It shouldn't be about politics.
Do you like Tamron Hall, like the news version or like the crime show version?
The news version.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge Tamron Hall fan. I stalk her Instagram page. Been in the DMs. Been swatted down in the DMs. It's not
You
pretty.
slid in her DMs.
I was actually at a private party with her
recently.
Once before, a couple years ago.
All right, we gotta go. All right, I'm Jason Whitlock. That was Chris Broussard. You're in the herd.